Hey guys, Alex Fedotoff here, and today we have Glenn, man, like your last name, so Van Geldorp, right?
That's correct, man. That's how you say it in English.
And that guy is like he used to be a professional soccer player, and now he's an e-commerce entrepreneur. He's done almost $2 million in revenue this year. Has amazing lessons that I'm gonna pick his brain on many things because his story is incredible, man. So happy to have you here.
Well, yeah, happy to be here as well. Thank you.
Cool, man. So how you got into e-commerce like in the first place?
Actually, while playing, I started off with a brand, which I sold in August 2020. I started in 2017. I was just playing football. At that time, I was playing Thailand and had a lot of problems and issues with blisters slipping in my shoes. Obviously, in Thailand, it's very hot.
You've been like a good player, like really kind of like very like that's professional teams, right?
Yeah, professional teams, all of them, every one of them. Obviously, Europe is the highest level you could play in. I was in Asia, coming from the Netherlands. I played a season in the US as well, and then back to Thailand. So not the top level. I should be playing somewhere in Europe, but just below that, and had a really nice career, I'd say.
So you started e-commerce at what point, like of your career there?
2017, 4 years ago. I guess I was 25. And I just actually developed a product for myself, which was an anti-slip shoe sock. Sorry, name is Gravity Grip Socks. Anyone can find it on Instagram. And actually, there I had the product for myself. I used it for like half a year just to stop slipping in my shoes and prevent blisters. And not until I played my season in the United States, there were a couple of guys asking me like, "Hey, what are you wearing? What is that?" And then they were asking me, "Can we get a couple to try as well?" So I ordered some more samples, like brandless, nothing on there yet. And they tried it out, and they were like, "Hey, could we get some more? Like we could buy some together." And that's the moment, like that how that lamp popped above my head. I was like, okay, if they want to buy it, there might be other people out there who are trying to buy it. And I was very lucky. Like a client, my dad has a construction company. One of his clients has a big market. Well, how do you say, designing agency? I'd say they do designs for Heineken and all the big companies in from the Netherlands. And they helped me out with like designing the logo, the product, and for free. Because obviously normally they receive a bigger pay than I would like to start with. And they helped me out. And actually, World Cup 2018 in Russia, we did a lot of promos there. I connected with a lot of players that I know either from my career or through friends of mine. And they were worn there as well. That was big for us, like in terms of our social growth.
So how much in revenue that business generated like the first year?
First year, I'd say not so much. I just started with an order of like 700 pairs. I sold that towards the end of the year because I did some promos to my friends, most of them players, and a lot of people reacted and wanted to buy. So the 700 pairs were pretty quickly. And then the second year, we did a lot better. In terms of revenue, I don't dare to say, but it's not seven figures. It must have been under seven figures in that first year for sure. Even in the second year, I don't think we hit. I mean, that's going to be the third year. I don't think we've hit seven figures with it. So all the way until 2020, totaling over seven for sure. But yeah, that's when I sold it.
So in terms of like selling the business, like how did you why you decided to sell it, like and like what was the main reason?
2020, I think COVID started like around April, more or less March, April maybe. And obviously people that have to stay inside are not going to buy expensive socks that they can only use outside for sport. So kind of the sales completely dropped. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? I was learning a lot for Facebook advertising and stuff for my brand. But most of the people teaching were like drop shippers. But I just used their kind of like techniques to do it onto my brand and test everything out. And that's how I got into the idea, like, I can't sell this product right now, my own product. Why don't I try, sell some other stuff while I'm kind of waiting here while my brand, is kind of stuck. And so I started drop shipping, and after a couple of months, I think I did 400K in 1 month. And it was already in April or May, one of the two. So that was fairly quick. And then towards August, nothing really picked up with my brand. And I connected with a guy in Argentina. We did something together with our brand promoting. He owned a big sports brand in the US called Senda. And he actually connected me like, hey, Glenn, I just wanted to tell you, like, I'm going to start selling socks as well, perhaps also grip socks. I would like your advice and that. And that's how we got into the conversation, that he might not want to add my brand to his if there was an option. And that's how we got actually to the sale, like 1.5 or 2 months later.
Oh, wait. So he bought your brand basically.
He bought the brand, yeah.
Oh, wow, nice. After that, so you sold the brand. Like, what was the arrangement there?
The arrangement was a fixed pay. And then now until 2024, 2025, there's like quarterly pays based on performance.
And obviously,
I'm in. Yeah, not as much as I'd hoped to, and probably he had hoped to. Actually, less than we have been doing. But it has a lot to do with him not running. He doesn't run ads. Like it just doesn't. He does a lot of organic stuff and Amazon with his brand. He doesn't run Facebook ads. He's starting on it now, but he's not willing to allocate like a big budget to it to test and whatnot. So he's big on influencers and he's big on Amazon, trying to push everything to that. But it's not as fast as we have actually grown in the first couple of years.
How is like TikTok, right? So at some point you got on TikTok. How much you've done with TikTok so far, like in revenue?
600K plus. Well, actually, it was 1 July that, well, I told you about. I got basically ripped off my own company somewhere at the end of June. And it was the 1st of July also that the VAT was starting in Europe, the new VAT rules. So it got a little bit harder to, sell on in Europe for me with my Dutch company. And at the same time, my whole Facebook structure was taken with my company. So I was like, okay, I can either restart or I can, jump on an opportunity that I believe there was with TikTok, which not many people had jumped on yet. So I kind of started that in August. I did like 100 something K in the first month. Well, actually, the first 2-3 weeks were completely shit, but it was that last week that grabbed a lot of the revenue. So after testing a lot of stuff in September, October, November, being kind of like straightforward months. It was 1 month that was 80K, the rest all above 100. And yeah, we're going into December already, and we did 600K plus in total ever since.
Nice. And also you have you have the access to these like enterprise accounts on TikTok, right? Would you consider that like an advantage? Like if you have access to the credit line, you have access to the enterprise accounts, like do you see that as an advantage?
Well, I know that not even my situation, but a lot of people dealing with like holds on either PayPal, Stripe, whatever it is, where your funds are locked and you cannot scale as hard as you want. And I got these enterprise accounts because of my mate that's working at TikTok. And you basically can build up this credit time over time. Well, I've been using it for little over 3 months now, and 2.5, something like that, I believe. And I already built the credit line like up to like 130K, more or less. So that is the thing that really helped me out for me, because what happened to my previous company kind of took like a depth into the new company, which gave me a real limit to scale. And this was the one thing that kept me like going, because I have a PayPal hold, 20% rolling reserve, which was continuously holding more funds. When this credit line opened for me on TikTok, that was just amazing. I know we had to call and trying to, where can we find loans? Where can we find money? And this was actually the one thing that really helped me out.
Interesting. So basically when that happened was like TikTok and stuff, like how do you like, have you been like profitable like with TikTok, like from day one, or how much time it took you to get it like dialed in?
I did most of it myself, some help from mentoring as well, from someone that was already doing some good numbers in TikTok. So someone I could ask questions to. But actually the first 3 weeks, 60 products in, I made only losses. Obviously you make something back with some sales you made, but no definite like winning product, or however you want to call it. But one product that really did well until like that 4th week, where I really made UGC, had the product myself. I recorded exactly because I know kind of how to make TikToks, like actual TikToks, because my personal account I have like I don't know, 120, 130K followers as well.
Oh, really? Nice.
So I did that before. I was posting on TikTok for myself already, my personal profile, just football stuff. So I kind of knew how it worked, and I was like, okay, let me just try that out. And I did that. And that's actually when in that 4th week, I hit that product that took off from, day one, and I was able to scale it pretty rapidly. So ever since then, I've been profitable. There's 1 month that was not so profitable, just in terms of which products I had in that month. the selection was a bit off, and I was kind of hopping off that UGC because it takes so much effort, right? If you do everything yourself, order the product, record it, edit. So kind of tried the other way again. And after that, I was like, okay, I need to make my own videos again, and everything went back to normal. I actually passed two months already.
How is like on TikTok? What would you say like the most important factors like for the success? Is it like the creative? Is that the product itself? Like is it the same on Facebook? Like if product is kind of like not a winner, then you know to make it work, or you can still make it work with the you can still make it work with like let's say good like creative.
Yeah, good creative can do a lot. I know products, for example, that other people said like, hey, I tried this one, didn't work out. And when I created like because I know it were previous winners, I know there are people that run them very successfully in the past, either a year ago or maybe even 2 years ago. But then when you make that UGC and make it actually, you don't try to sell nothing really in these creatives. You really just want to make a TikTok in where a person is either showing something or presenting the product, but without trying to sell it, just showing how it works, or telling you about it, how much it has helped you for a certain thing. That on TikTok is so much more like the salesy kind of videos you use on Facebook that kind of still work, where you're presenting the product to someone. That really doesn't work, like presenting the advantages. It really needs to come from the person itself on TikTok. Like, hey, I'm using this product for whatever much time. I even did a female product that I recorded. I said, hey, I bought this for my wife, this and that. And it actually went very well, that creative. Just telling how much she liked it. And I guess that worked. And it was just females, but I wasn't even targeting guys to kind of present it to their girlfriend. I was just targeting like females, and you know, they went for it. So the creative is very, very important.
Hey guys, people have been asking me how we scale to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook. And we have a very sophisticated solution for this that I want to share with you, but it's just like too valuable to give away for free. So if you guys want this solution, just book a call with one of my team members and we'll show you exactly what it is and how it works, and we'll see if that's a good fit for you and for your business. So just book a call with my team member. We'll share it with you so you can scale your business to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook, without having inconsistency, and with high profitability. So just book a call with my team and I'll see you there.
So how do you like, can you kind of like walk me through like the process for the creative? So you said kind of you kind of like know the process that can get you like, you know, with high confidence to winning creative. Like, can you know, walk me through that process?
So it depends on the product. If there's good creatives out there, I usually try to test with a creative that someone has. And if I see like good KPIs, either on the click-through rate or cost per click or CPMs, I try to order the product as soon as possible.
Can you get into trouble like for getting someone else's content?
Yes, you can. I have one even on my enterprise account. I have one ad account penalized, not for that long. It was for 3 weeks, and they explain you very, very well when an ad get rejected or there's an issue. They'll tell you in detail. They'll put arrows on a screenshot to show you exactly what you need to change. So that's much better than Facebook.
So yeah, on Facebook, they don't give you a reason. They just shut you down.
No, so they actually penalized the account. Like I had rejected ads before, but this time they actually penalized it. And for 3 weeks, and I asked them like, hey, what's going on? They said, sorry, you have some copyright infringement. It's this video. We're gonna penalize your account until the 8th, and then you have when it becomes active, you have 2 days to remove all the ad sets and delete it out of your account, and don't reuse it, and then you'll get your account back. So it is possible. I did not know there was a famous influencer of which I used the content from, me or my team. So we were not so aware. Obviously, we know it's other people's content, but only if the creator is very, very popular, they might, you know, flag your video if they see it. But it's literally only if you see it. For the people running in Europe, I guess that's not too much of an issue because they're going to be using American influencers and target Europe. But for us, as I'm running in the US, I guess it's a little bit more dangerous. But it's one time out of I don't know how many products.
So in terms of the like, okay, so let's say you kind of like follow, let's say you create a piece of content, right? Like, and it doesn't work, right? So how many more variations would you typically test? You know, the content would you test like to see whether the product works?
I try every product with 3 to 8 pieces of content, either different ones or variations. I try to use the automatic creative optimization or a CBO with different, how do you say, creatives in it. If that doesn't work, I'm inclined to sometimes try another one that I find, if I can find a good one. If not, I don't really pursue the product. I'll just let it go. And usually TikTok is pretty good at optimizing which creative. Not always, but they're usually pretty good. So if those don't, like the best picks you have don't really work out, I don't try to, force it, so to say.
Interesting, cool. So in terms of so you have this kind of like TikTok. TikTok is your main like acquisition channel currently?
Yes.
Cool. So what's like with Facebook, like do you plan to add Facebook as well, or like TikTok is so good that you just want to double down on it?
I want to double down on TikTok. Obviously, I would love to add Facebook to it, but I also spoke to Sergey. He said might a good idea to wait till the next year, because there's bans left and right at this point. So I'm considering that. Actually, I'm just doubling down on TikTok now. Through the community, actually, spoke a guy yesterday who's going to help me out even more with creatives, because that is always the bottleneck so far. Like creatives, finding a good creator on TikTok that can make TikTok native ads for us. So that is always like an issue. Like how fast do we get the content back if we're not making it ourselves? And then how is the quality? You can write. I feel like sometimes you can write SOPs you want and send it to them. Some of them don't even read it. The other, just do something that doesn't even look like what you're trying to make. So hopefully that's going to help us out, so we can test at a higher scale. Basically, go through some more products at a faster pace.
So you have the business, right? Like, and I don't know. That's like we've talked. It's okay. We covered that slightly, because I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs will encounter, encountered like at some point of life where they have a business partner, or like they have someone that lets them down, like in some way or one way or another, whether it's like team member or like partner. So how did you like overcome that in terms of like, do you still kind of like remember that and just want to like kind of like fight back at some point, or you just let it go after something like this happened?
Yeah, I tried to let it go, to not hold a grudge towards any person or whatever. At that point, it was pretty harsh, because literally what happened is I worked one day and the next day I woke up, bank account was taken, PayPal accounts were taken. The stores, I had a lot of Google Drive is obviously full with a lot of SPs and videos and training videos, whatever I created over time, which is actually for me the most valuable, because a lot of time goes in creating all of that, all of those things. And then the bank account, PayPal, every other account, Slack, everything was like disconnected. They sent a message to the staff that was working for us that I randomly quit, and they tried to continue basically without me. And at that point, I was like, okay, I didn't know, at the first, you don't understand what's going on. You don't know what happened. So before you figure it out, as soon as I figured it out, the first thing I did is actually I took a holiday. I went to Santorini for a week or so in Greece. And when I came back is when I started making decisions. Okay, what should I do? What can I do? And what does the situation look like right now?
So you took the time. So rather than taking some kind of like emotional type of action, right? Like you just decided to just like think it through, right? Give it some time to kind of like resync and then come back to it.
Yeah, that's how I did it. Obviously, I knew that trying to fight anything or get anything back is probably not going to help, because in the end, I don't want to work with people like that. So it kind of happens for you, not to you. Try to put it in that perspective, so that I got rid of it fairly cheap. Could have been 2 years down the line that it happened.
What do you think? Like, I mean, so kind of like looking back, right? And it's like just kind of like reflect, because a lot of people might benefit from it. What do you think you could, like, let's say if you would have a partner now, right? Like, what would you do differently, from that standpoint, for this not to happen?
It's very hard, because legally, obviously, whatever they did is they're not really in a strong position. On the other hand, I don't feel like I want to pursue something too much. Like, it's going to cost a lot of time, a lot of money to try win back whatever capital you lost, or whatever values or assets. So anyone could do something like that. In order to make sure it doesn't happen for a second time, obviously have a very strong contract, as well as be more secure in where the access is, right? Like who has access to what, and to what extent. I think that is something very important to consider. Other than that, I wouldn't know.
Actually,
take more time to pick whoever you work.
Such a good point, man, because like we're currently working on some deals, with basically investing in businesses, and the contracts, like, I mean, we work with lawyers. I mean, the contracts take like forever. Like, they write and they're like every little like thing, like, I mean, they take like days to kind of like draft some like little things, and I'm like, gee, can you just get it done? But like, they say, it's kind of like when, for example, if you're like, let's say you have like you're buying a business as a whole, let's say you buy like 100% of it, it's pretty straightforward, kind of like all of the assets go to you. But if it's like 50-50, right, or you have like a minority kind of like share in the business, then it gets like more tricky, right? Like there's like every like stipulation can be like, they kind of like look at it like from very like different angles, that I was like, gee, that's just, I didn't even think about that, So
yeah,
it's like the good lesson there is like every time it's like rare, it's like, yeah, probably get like a good lawyer, right? I think that would be.
I mean, obviously that if you, I mean, we started out literally. I had my store selling in the US, like worldwide, kind of, and this was my first time that I started. Was beginning of 2020, maybe the end of 2019. I started selling in Sweden because a friend of mine said it's a very good market. Just translate, go ahead and fire off. So I launched one product, and it was like 10 ROAS on the first day. But I used my second Facebook setup, not the one that I used for my US. I wanted to keep everything separate. And that one just went down like after no time. I scaled and it went down. And I tried it again and it went down. So I had no solution for it right then. And I was talking to this guy, and he's like, I have a strong setup. We could work together on this. And that time I didn't take too much time, I was like, okay, let's go ahead. So his input was basically that he had the Facebook account, and that we would work everything out in the back end. And that store took off. Like we sold like, well, basically I built everything and I sold it, but he provided the Facebook account. And it made a lot of money for him as well. So I don't know why in the end he decided to, go this route, I guess.
So you basically both benefited. It was like kind of like beneficial, like collaboration for both sides. You were both making money, but then at the end, like you just decided to just.
Yeah, but I was also, I thought he was a pretty decent and good drop shipper, but in the end, he showed me his previous store and he never did any revenue. Well, in the past, he was telling me he was doing 30K days, but down the line, I think when we were already working together, he showed me his previous store. Obviously, I was curious and went back to that time when we spoke around the time when he was doing 30K days, and all of that was like complete bullshit. He never did like 80K over like 4 months or something.
So at that point, I think you could. At this point, you could have like kind of like be more cautious, right? Like, and just,
yeah, I should have.
I guess.
Big lesson.
That's interesting. I think that's such a good lesson, man, because like in today's world, like, I mean, I live in Miami, right? Like everyone is fucking big shot here, It's everyone is like talking, it's like, it's like you wouldn't even say like, you can say who's doing well and who's not, because everyone's like dressing up like fancy cars and stuff. And like, but then like, there's like so many people that just talk, right? And I think there's like obviously like talking, like selling your stuff and like selling your product, you know, kind of like it's a good ability, right? But then you have to like, at the end, you have to like back it up. And yeah, what you said, I think makes a lot of sense. If someone is talking, like even like team member, you hire someone, right? And they're like overpromise you like shit, dude, like this, and I had this and this. And then you see like, kind of like throughout the process, you see those kind of like red flags, then it's like you got to be more cautious. And it's like, for me, it's like 3 strikes and it's done. Like, so it's like 3 red flags, massive red flags. I was thinking, we had like even some people on the team that like we maintained after having these like red flags. Shit, man, I mean, costing you like a lot more long term if you do that, if you maintain them. Yeah. So it's best just to like, you see that, cut the cord. This is it. Forget about it. Just move on and just obviously learn a lesson from it and try not to do it again. I think everyone, there's this human nature, right? Like you do something and then you kind of like, you're getting like, if you do this like for a long time, or like there's like even families when, like husband abuses wife or like other way around, and like, but they stick together. Oh, it's like we've been together for so many years. It's like, and they tolerate, and then like, I mean, it just, so I think everyone is guilty of it, man. So what happened to you, I think it's like, it could happen to anyone, probably happen to like a lot of I personally know, like, other people in the program who've had exactly the same experience. I think the most important thing is just to move on. Like even Mark Cuban, I don't know if you read the book about like Mark Cuban. That's so hilarious. No, it's this like small book. It's called How to Win in the Sport of Business or something like that. It's amazing, small book, but very like insightful. So he said they've been running a business. They were like just starting a business, just started to do well. They were selling computer parts or something like that. They were young guys, and they had this like they had the accounting lady, right? Like she was doing like all of the accounting and stuff. And then like one day, like his banker tells him that like the check bounced or something in a store in a bank, and he came to the bank to see the check, and he said he sees that the lady was basically signing their own check, so he didn't even check the bank account, right? Like so she was basically extracting money, like she extracted all of the money that they had. Basically, it's like, and at that point, it was all of their capital. So like Mark Cuban, the fucking billionaire right now, right?
Yeah,
he's been through this shit. Like every successful entrepreneur has been through this. So man, like it's kind of, it's like the lesson. It's very unpleasant. It's very like bitter, but at the end of the day, it's like, what you learn from it, how you evolve, and like you just use it as your motivation to do a lot better.
You better use it, at least the lesson from it, because it will be a very expensive lesson to not learn something from it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You pay a lot of money to learn how to do it well next time. So that's basically, that's why I always say like everything happens for you, not to you. So perhaps this, helped any disaster maybe if we would have gone on for another 2 years, or imagine what could have happened there and what kind of money would be involved.
Yeah. All right, cool, my man. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for sharing. Guys, Glenn is in our community, eCommerce Scaling Secrets. You want to connect with him? Well, I'll drop your Instagram or something below so people can connect with you. So yeah, man, thank you so much for joining me today.
Awesome. Thank you. And we'll be talking soon.
Want to connect, mastermind, and network with 6, 7, 8-figure entrepreneurs? Join our free community on Facebook, which is called Brand Hypergrowth. It's for only entrepreneurs who are already doing at least $30,000 or more in sales per month and want to go to 7, 8 figures. So you can connect, you can network, you can mastermind, you can exchange insights and value with these guys and take your business to the next level. So there should be a link in the description. Make sure you join today.